I think one of the hardest parts about loving a pet is knowing that one day we may need to say goodbye to them. And one of the more common things that we as vets get asked is, how do I know when the time is right? Unfortunately, there's no single test or parameter that is going to give us that answer. But what I like to focus on is quality of life. So I ask these simple but powerful questions, like, are they still eating and drinking? Are they still peeing and pooing normally? Do they still move around a bit? Do they seem comfortable? And are they finding a bit of joy in something? And for older pets, that joy might not be zooming around like they're puppies or kittens anymore, but maybe they're going out into the sunshine and grooming themselves or coming up for a pet or a cuddle. I think pain plays a really important part in this discussion as well, because can their pain be controlled? If it is a condition that is temporary and going to improve, then it might be worth continuing, and we can control their pain with medications or other adjunctive therapies like hydrotherapy or physiotherapy. So if it is something like a surgery or an abscess or an infection where we know that pain is temporary and it's going to get better, then it's worth continuing. But sometimes pain can be from a condition that is going to progress and going to get worse. Some things like osteoarthritis or cancers or other long-standing conditions. And if we cannot control that pain, then the quality of life might be compromised by it. What I usually say to people in those situations is to keep a diary of good days versus bad days. And when the bad days start outweighing the good days is when it is probably time to start thinking about saying goodbye. I think one of the things that is harder to talk about but really important is some conditions are treatable and manageable, but it might not be within people's financial means to do it. Things like diabetes, Cushing's disease, hypothyroidism, those kind of kidney disease in cats, those kind of things can be managed, but it is a significant financial investment to do so. And unfortunately, if it's not within an owner's means to do that, then that animal will probably have a reduced quality of life and eventually have suffering because of these conditions. And in those situations, it might be kinder to put them to sleep than to just let them live with this underlying condition. I think one of the most important parts about being a vet is to have these conversations honestly and without judgment, and to try and take the guilt out of the situation for people, because it is a really hard decision to have to make. But one of the things that I don't think anybody has said to me is that I wish I waited longer. I think most people say, I wish I'd done it sooner, because euthanasia, as hard as it is something that we can do for our pets. It's something that we can stop their suffering, we can alleviate their pain, and we can make their end dignified and let them have a good quality of life, even if it is a shorter life.